So, all right. So over the last 7 weeks or so, we've been talking about recruiting. And as I mentioned, we're going to unveil a new wealth building tool here in just a little bit. But since we've been almost 8 weeks of doing the recruiting track and how that integrates with sales track, I wanted to do a quick review of that. It'll take us a couple minutes. And then I'm going to put one of the owners of the company on the phone. I'm going to put Skylar Whitman on the phone, and he is going to do our intro for this new wealth building tool that we're launching, and then we will take things from there. So going back to last week, what is our recruiting process? Well, first is gain interest, and how do we do that? Well, we do that with the first 6 steps of sales track. With whom do I start? Our 15-second commercial, qualifying questions and tie downs, personal and borrowed stories, the litmus test, setting the appointment in stone. This is about 15 to 20 minutes of conversation maximum. It literally could be 5 to 10 minutes of conversation. Although we break this down into 6 individual steps, what we want you to get is there's a rhythm and a flow. And it doesn't matter that you use exactly our language, but we want you to hit those points with the client. As Joan has mentioned and Darlene's mentioned, all of us have mentioned on the calls, the most important aspect of your gaining interest from the client, getting in the client space, is asking questions and really listening to what the client has to say, because they'll give you the keys that you need to build your value propositions, to build your pitch, so to speak, in recruiting, so that it suits their needs and it's in alignment with their desires and what they're looking to accomplish with their current business, or if they're looking to open a new business. Last week we looked at the follow-up appointment, answer questions, and that's what I want to review with you all today. The very last step is begin your training and support. Takeaways from last week. Okay, sales track, the follow-up appointment. The first thing I want you to take away is on that follow-up appointment, I don't want you to get in there and just start grilling the person. The first question out of your mouth to that new prospect that you're trying to recruit is, what did you like best about what you saw and heard? Now, this is a very innocuous statement, but what it does is it tells you a couple things. Number one, it starts things off with a very positive note with your new prospective agent that you're bringing in. But it also helps to find deeper what is important to them by asking them what did they like best. They'll have certain areas of the program or the videos. But there's another aspect to this as well, as what did they connect with? Why was it important to them? These are the things you want to find out when you're bringing in that new prospect, to really find out what type of prospects you're bringing on board. How does this person integrate? This is the time that you want to answer the prospect's question, and it's okay not to know the answer. I want you all to be fully aware of that. So many people get frustrated when they get asked a question and they don't truly know the answer. Many people will try to shuck and jive, or try to walk around the issue. No, feel free to tell somebody, you know what, that's a great question. Let me check on that for you. Or, you know what, I don't know the answer to that question right now, but I can get an answer for you. Let me get back to you with that. Under no circumstances you just try to walk your way through it or try to wing it. If you don't know the answer to a question, it's okay. And people don't expect you to know absolutely everything. So make sure you leave an open door, acknowledge that question, tell them you'll get back to them, but above all, do what you say you're going to do. If you say you'll get back to them with an answer on that question, make sure you do that in a timely manner with that individual. I think many people have forgotten the power of the three-way call. And this is something else when you're recruiting people that I think is very effective, and it's very effective in sales as well. And we find there's a lot of lateral concepts and ideas and processes between sales and recruiting. But when you're recruiting, that three-way call, that ability to call up your leader and say, hey, I've got John on the phone. He's looking at the company and he's really interested in joining. He just wanted to talk to somebody that had some success with it. Get your leader on the phone. Get them to talk to them so they know that they're a part of it. Use agent support as a three-way call so they have a connection with agent support and they know that it's easy to get with agent support. Use the tools that you have in place, but I cannot emphasize how important that three-way call is. How many deals I've closed myself using a three-way call, not just recruiting, but selling the product, and how many people have utilized that three-way call process. There's one thing we have to remember about the three-way call, and I want to make sure I'm very clear on this. Many people make the mistake of edifying the person they are calling with, their prospect. You want to edify the person you're calling. You want to edify your leader. You want to edify agent support. You want to build them up. Now, my leader is difficult to get in touch with. They run a very busy schedule, but I'm going to take a shot here and give them a call. And let's see if we can't get them on the phone for a couple minutes to chat with you about our organization, how powerful it is, the great things that are going on inside the organization. Preface that. Set up your upline for success. Always edify that third person that you're putting on the phone. And who really is the third person on the phone? Well, they're the same person as the person from out of town with a briefcase. They're the expert. They're the individual that is going to make your prospect, your sale, whatever that is, feel connected to something bigger than themselves. Is this someone you want to work with? Remember this. This is not just having a conversation. This is having an interview. You're looking to recruit this person to work with you. Can you work with them? Would they be a good addition? Once you have determined all of that and they're ready to go and they're like, yep, I do want to join, you feel good about it, they feel good about it, make sure you guide them forward to closing. The next step is joining is easy. This is how we do it. This is how we get this accomplished for you. Don't put a lot of roadblocks in their way. If an individual wants to join up with the company and they say, I know a little bit about the company, I know what you all offer, and I just want to sign up, I need to have a sponsor, I would still go through a little bit of a process. Joan and Darlene both brought up something very important last week. Make sure, even though you're recruiting somebody, you expose them to the product, that they have an idea of what we are selling, that they at least have a demo. In my opinion, every single prospect that you bring on, you should run an analysis on that prospect to familiarize them with the process. One, it shows them that it's not that complicated to run an analysis. Number two, you never know who will end up saying, wow, those are great results. Is that for real? Is that something I could buy for my... It's called soft prospecting or passive prospecting. And it's, you know, the old argument, sell to recruit, recruit to sell. I say you do both. Some people say they always go out to recruit to sell, and some people say they sell to recruit. I believe in the 3-foot rule. Have this product become part of your language, this company and this product. Have it become a part of who you are, so the 3-foot rule truly applies. It's very easy to start a conversation about what you do for a living and move it into what somebody else does for a living and have just a very open conversation where no true agenda is on the table other than you want to find out more about them and would they be a possible good fit for you in your business or for purchasing the product or for both. In summary, finding prospects can be simple. Potential clients and agents are everywhere, but you do need to talk to them. Start the conversations. Create a sense of urgency by being a problem solver. What if I could help you with that? What if what you just mentioned, I had a solution to that? Would that be something you'd be willing to sit down and take a look at? Would you be willing to know more about that? Would you want to know more about that? Would you think that sounds like something that would interest you? Always keep your comments, your statements to the client very open, very broad to get them to respond and talk to you. Whatever you do, do not make the decision for others of who you should and should not recruit unless there's just some obvious flaws there on the recruiting that you do not want to be involved in. But what we're trying to say there is present the material to everyone you know, whether it be for recruiting or for the product. You never know how drastic people's situations have changed, or people you may think are in a fantastic position are not in that great of a position. They just are really good at keeping up the Joneses and making everything look like it's okay. You never know whose life you may touch and what impact you may have just by offering the information. You don't know who needs this program as an agent, client, or both. Allow others to make the decision about whether or not it's right for them. Prospect on purpose and prospect everywhere. Don't you make the decision. Constantly be talking about it. Allow it to become second nature everywhere you go. Integrate worth into your daily life. Have it become a part of who you are. Keep your processes simple. Stay to what you're being trained. Don't go too far off track. Don't try to ad-lib and self-explain this product. Don't just verbally regurgitate on the individual that you're talking to. In this particular business, and I learned this from one of my owners, and Skylar says this to me all the time because I'm long-winded, and less is more in this particular industry. Less is more. Find out what they need, and then attack that directly and take it in a very sequenced process manner. So, and here's the other piece of that, why you want that and why you want to follow a sales track, is it shows the individual you're working with that it's professional. There's a process that must be followed. Go step by step with your prospect or with your sales prospect. Go step by step and let them know the next step is, the next step is, the next step is. If you want to give them rules of engagement near the beginning, now we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to expect a decision. There are agents out there that are doing that and having great success. Keep your client informed. Simply guide people through the process. Don't be a secret business owner. Continue doing something daily for your business and watch it explode. I love the comment, do something uncomfortable every single day. With that having been said, I am going to bring on Mr. Skylar Whitman, and he's going to talk to you for a few moments, and I believe he is going to bring on some individuals potentially, and they're going to chat with you for just a little bit. So this one, I don't really know where he's going. He wanted the time on the call. He's the owner, so I'm giving him the time. So Mr. Skylar Whitman, if everybody would help me welcome one of the founding members of Worth Unlimited, Mr. Skylar Whitman.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Max Saunders. Hey, it's not very often that I'm able to jump on the call and take over some of Max's time. He does such a fantastic job at going through and running these calls that it's something where we're really not needed. He does a much better job of presenting than we ever could. So, but listen, thank you so much for joining us on the call tonight. We realize you're probably just barely getting done with a fairly busy weekend. Over the Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully you had a fantastic holiday and, in celebration of the armed men and women who have given their lives to help keep us safe. We're super excited to be able to go through and show you a tool that we've been working on for some time now. We're always working on tools to be able to help you to be able to do your job easier, to be able to get the message of debt elimination and interest savings and financial freedom out to people in a much more effective way. As we speak, we have multiple different tools and projects in process that are in various stages of completion. So we don't talk about those things until they are ready to announce, but we do actually have something tonight that we feel will make your job much easier in not only helping to convey the value of the Worth account to people in a much more clear and concise and effective way, but something that will help you to be able to help your clients to literally be able to go through and add to the list of benefits of their program from debt elimination, interest savings. You will now be able to go through and add the benefits of residual income and wealth building. This is a pretty big statement when you really think about it. Up until now, the program has always only been shown or marketed in a light of debt elimination and interest savings. Now, what I'm about to go through and show you has already been being done by many different individuals that are on the program for years. And when we go through and show you what we're about to show you, I'm sorry, I hate to keep dragging it out, but I want to make sure that you're all up to, expectations here. What we're about to show you is not some new thing. It's something that all of you on this call, or at least most of you on this call, will probably already have a good sense that it was there. But many times, the old saying goes, we don't know what we don't know. Many of us had absolutely no idea that this approach could be so effective. We've known about this approach and how effective it can be for quite some time, but for different reasons and rolling different things out, the timing to be able to go through and show this has not been until today. And so without any further delay, I am going to go through and show you a video that we have been working on and have put together that will help you in your efforts as a Worth agent. And once this video is over, we're going to go through a fair amount more information with you on this video. So now, most of you probably already know, trying to watch a video on GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar is not always the best way to watch this, to watch a video. We're going to go ahead and do it anyway, but then we'll go through and direct you on where you can get a much more quality version of it. All right, Mac, let's go ahead and let this video roll.
From the debt elimination video, you have seen the amazing debt elimination and interest reduction power of this program. But did you know this program also helps homeowners to build wealth and create significant residual income? Well, let's look at one example of the program's amazing wealth building and income generating power. From the previous video, we saw how the program pays off mortgages and other debts in record time. But our couple wondered, what would it look like if we also decided to invest in a rental income property and secure a renter? To see if this would be a good idea, they opened the program and entered a new mortgage amount of $225,000. What adding a second $225,000 rental property would look like, again, with a rental income of $1,400 per month. After adding the new mortgage for their second rental property and adding the second rental income of $1,400 per month to their program, the system now shows both their primary mortgage and rentals number 1 and 2 could be completely paid off in just 9.7 years. Amazing! And they absolutely love the idea of increasing their income by $2,800 per month. So then our homeowners wondered, if we could get these kinds of results on 2 properties, what if we added more? So, keeping it simple, they added another $225,000 rental property into the program at a rental income of $1,400 per month. Following the system, our homeowners found that all their properties, including their third rental, could be paid off in just 11.5 years, and their fourth rental in just 12.8 years, and their fifth rental in just 14 years, and so on, up until their 15th rental, which could all be paid off, including their primary home, in just 20.4 years. So while their neighbors still have approximately 10 years left on their mortgage, our example homeowners could have 16 homes paid off free and clear. Wow, they thought to themselves. That means our monthly income could grow by $1,400 as each property pays off. And over 20.4 years, that can build to an additional residual income of $21,000 per month. And a real estate portfolio value of over $3.3 million without adding a penny in real estate appreciation. So our homeowners ask themselves the obvious question. Why would anyone pay on a single mortgage for up to 30 years when you could be building a huge residual income and investment property portfolio that you own free and clear in far less time? We think the answer is obvious. Now you have the tools and knowledge to be debt-free and building wealth in far less time than it normally takes just to pay off your primary mortgage. And each client that activates on the program is provided with live success coaches. These coaches show you how to easily use the program for debt elimination and wealth creation. And they provide you with expert assistance and options when it comes time to identifying, buying, and managing your first, second, third, and so on income-generating rental properties. How many income-generating properties could you own free and clear in 5, 10, or 15 plus years with this program? Oh, and we haven't even talked about the possibility of a vacation home. Get back with a representative that sent you this video and ask them to run a free financial report that will show you how much time and money you could save and how much income and wealth you could build. Stop throwing your hard-earned money away and start building your financial future today.
All right, so that is the video. As you can tell, it's not long. We have intentionally put it together to try and be as concise but as powerful as we can be in helping to shed some light on this angle. You know, there's a lot of different questions we're sure that will come in about this. We're not expecting you to go through and understand exactly how to implement this and how to be most effective with it just on tonight's call. But there may be some of you already that just looking at that video, the wheels are turning in your mind on what you can do with this. And most likely the thoughts that you're having are correct. You absolutely can go out there and talk not only to people that are looking to get out of debt and save interest, but people that are looking for additional ways to be able to increase their income, to be able to generate residual income, to be able to have income working for them while they're sleeping, to have income coming in while they're on vacation. All of those types of things are things that absolutely can be accomplished and conveyed to people that are looking at the product at this point. So what I want to do is we have a couple of people that we'd like to call on just to share their thoughts that have already seen this video. Generally we go to our field partners and top leaders to be able to get their feedback and their opinion on different things before we finalize them and before we release them to the field. And so if we can, it's just a little bit unannounced, but I would like, I have spoken with Miss Joan Hockenstad, Dr. Joan Hockenstad, as one of the field partners of the company about this video, and we had a good conversation about some of the possibilities and the light that this angle shines on the opportunity, shines on the benefits of the program for consumers. Maybe you run into somebody that doesn't even have a mortgage, but they are looking for some way to be able to put together a strategy to increase their income very effectively. Well, those are now your potential buying public as well. So if we can, I would like to go ahead and call on Dr. Joan Hockenstad and publicly ask her if she would not mind going through and sharing some of the thoughts and insight that she shared with me a little bit earlier today. Dr. Hockenstad, are you there?
I am. Hi. How are you, Skylar?
I'm doing good, Joan. How are you doing?
I'm doing just dandy, thank you. I love this video. I think it's fantastic. You did an awesome job.
Well, thank you. What are some of your thoughts about it?
Well, the reality is we have a very short time frame to capture people's attention and to convince them that we're really worth looking at the program, that we're worth their time. You know, Americans are all about what's in it for me, the WIIFM, the radio station. And this is giving people a way and giving us a way to show them what's in it for them. It's giving us an efficient, short, concise, yet impactful way to answer that infamous question. And it's going to blow people's minds away. I mean, to really get to a position where they can have how many houses in less time frame than they would actually be able to just be paying off their mortgage in their normal time frame, it's just absolutely amazing. Now, on the agent side, one of the things I was talking with Skylar about before is that there's three main reasons why people become an agent. And most of us as agents out in the field, we tend to focus on number one. It gives people a plan B or a way to replace their income, and that's great. A lot of people are looking for that source of income, a plan B or a way to replace their income. The second reason is a crusade, but really one of the things that we've been not addressing as strongly as I think we should be is that this is a phenomenal way to enhance one's core business. So let me ask you, can you imagine using this video to recruit a realtor or a loan officer? I mean, obviously this would be a phenomenal way. Imagine how this would enhance their business. Now, I am a realtor. I own a real estate brokerage, and I've always historically implemented Worth Unlimited in my brokerage. And I've always had my agents be an agent. I've always had my realtors be an agent. I've always had it as an integral part of me displaying it to my clients as I was helping them buy or sell homes. And I've personally used it as well. I've personally used it to access capital so I can invest in more real estate. I've used this as a system to buy more single-family residences, to buy an apartment complex. So I've personally used it. But this other part of it is that this was a phenomenal way to distinguish my real estate brokerage from the competition. And that's what this is going to help other realtors do as well, is it's going to help them enhance the core business, distinguish themselves from their competition, and show others what they could truly do. I know that Flavio, and I'm hoping he's going to be speaking. Is he going to be speaking in just a few minutes, Skylar?
Yes, I'm actually just texting with him right now. He'll be on.
Okay, good. So I won't steal his thunder because he has some incredible stories to tell about how he's been using this. But this is a really phenomenal way to increase the core business. Now, on the client side, though, let's think about it. 97% of Americans will retire and live at a lower financial status than when they work. 97% of Americans. And most people think, oh, gosh, I'm going to work super hard, and then when I retire, I'm going to be able to take the vacations. I'm going to be able to go golf and do all these different activities that I wanted to do that I couldn't do when I was working. The challenge is most people won't be able to afford it. We have the solution. We have something that will help them with those options so that they can afford to retire, so that they can afford to do all the things that they wanted to do while they were working, yet they were just too busy. You just saw how much money one could add to their income, to their portfolio, so on and so forth. So we have the solution. People have options. They just don't know it yet. And I'm just so excited that we have the opportunity to share that option with other people, that we can start that conversation that matters. It's going to be a true impact on the client side. It's going to be a true major gameplay changer for the agent side. This video is absolutely phenomenal, and it's going to be on our replicated sites right after the other 10-minute video. It's the combination of the two is going to explode your business and your recruiting tools.
Awesome, 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 Joan. Thank you so much for your comments. You know, for those of you that may be new to the company and are not familiar with who Dr. Joan Hockenstadt is, she has actually been with us for many years. She's been with us even since the beginning of Worth Unlimited with great success. And so we always very much appreciate her feedback and her thoughts and all of her efforts. So Joan, again, thank you so much for your time. And I agree, just for the record, I agree with everything you just said.
Well, thank you, Skylar. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, everyone. What we'd like to do now is, just because we do have a limited time for tonight's call, now we would like to go through and call on one of our other top producers in Worth Unlimited. This is a very talented man in the line of real estate and Worth Unlimited. He has actually been with us from the very, very beginning. His name is Flavio Jimenez, and he has been with us since the very beginning of our practice company, which was You First, and he has been with us from the very beginning of Worth Unlimited. The reason why I wanted to call on Flavio to give us his thoughts and feedback on this wealth building, income generating angle is because he has actually been doing exactly what you just saw on that video for years, and he went through and he has shared just a little bit of the success that he has seen with this angle with his clients with selling the program. You know, on top of that, again, he is one of our top producers, and so please listen very closely to what he has to say. He's not just talking in theory or in imagined ideas. He's talking from experience. So if we can, I'm going to go ahead and get Mr. Flavio on the call. Let me just see, Flavio. For some reason, I'm not seeing you here. Let's see. I do apologize. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty here. Okay. Well, I do apologize. You know what? We're going to go ahead and try and get him on. Mac's going to work here to try and go ahead and get him live. Okay, so it looks like Flavio is on the phone portion of the call, but in order to unmute you, Flavio, we do need to have you on the computer portion of the call. I don't know if you are in front of a computer at this time. I know that Flavio, as we have been on this call, was out walking the walk, and he was setting up yet another customer on the program. I don't want to steal his thunder, but he just went through and closed a full sale to a happy new customer while we've been running this call. So, Flavio, if you can, again, if you're anywhere convenient in front of a computer, if you can log on to the GoToWebinar screen, then we can go ahead and get you unmuted, and we would love to be able to hear your comments. We feel that this would be very insightful. So if you can, please, everybody, hang with us for just a moment here while we get Mr. Flavio Jimenez live on the call. Okay, so Flavio is working on getting on live on the call. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and share just a little bit of the information that I had to go over with you while he gets connected on the call live. So as many of you know, thanks to the efforts of all of you that are on this call and many people that may not be able to be on the call, we have many thousands of homeowners across the U.S. that have saved millions of dollars in interest to date. Millions. I won't go over the exact number because we don't want to have to go through and have audits from regulators and this and that, which inevitably happens when you start talking about the big numbers. But just know that the numbers that our customers, your customers, have saved in interest are in the many, many, many multiples of millions of dollars in savings. So the thing that's so exciting about what is going on with this new light, this approach to the product, is that you now are able to go past the mentality people have of saving money, which is exciting. You know, don't get me wrong, saving money is great. Everybody wants to save $1 or a lot of dollars. But now you're able to move to the other part of the brain that gets excited about income generation. And we're not talking about income generation as an agent. We're talking about income generation as a client of the software. But we can almost guarantee you that once they see the income generation power of the program as a client, they're inevitably going to want to share this with people. And why go through and share it with people?
So give me just a second, okay?
Okay, we do have sound.
I have okay. Flavio on the call with me. I just three-wayed him in. So Flavio's here.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so I will finish up my thoughts after we are done hearing from Mr. Flavio Jimenez. Joan, thank you so much for your assistance. So if we can, like I was saying, Mr. Flavio Jimenez, he has a tremendous background in both the Worth account and in real estate as his own real estate brokerages. So Flavio, I am not going to take up any more time, but if we can, let's go ahead and jump in here, and if you wouldn't mind sharing your thoughts about what you've seen with this angle, and not just what you've seen, but what you've done with it already before we're going through and unveiling this tonight.
Hi, Skyler. How are you doing? Thank you, John, for helping me. I'm an old guy, so you know, technology is not my thing. Listen, I jumped late into the call because I was closing a Worth account transaction. This is with a client of mine that I made him sell his property. So he sold his property, and he purchased 3 more. So he has 4 different mortgages right now on 4 different properties. And he just purchased the Worth account, and he's going to pay everything in less than 10 years, all 4 of them. And I've been doing this for a few years now, where I'm teaching clients how to pay their property, you know, and then teach them again how to reinvest. Now, when you came with that video that everybody just saw, we've been doing that with tremendous success. I don't know what can I say to all the worth agents out there to motivate the hell out of you on a way that you're going to be changing people's life. You know, I'm a statistics guy. I know statistics. And, you know, the average American, when they retire with $10,000 at the age of 65. That's the average. If you ask, there's what CNN Money made in a survey maybe like 2 months ago, that if you ask an average American to give you a check for $1,200 to pay an emergency, 80% of them, they don't have the $1,200. So, you know, I think we owe a lot to the community. If you have the privilege of knowing, you have the obligation of teaching. That's the way I feel it. And this video is going to change your guys' clients forever. Just don't say anything. I mean, don't even talk. Don't even say anything. Just have your client see that video, and you're going to sell them the dream of financial freedom. Don't sell them houses if you don't have license, of course. But you're going to be able to sell or to provide the financial freedom for the most part for the most Americans. So, guys, if you're an agent, well, congratulations. You have your job very, very easy now. It's going to be very sad if you guys don't close, I don't know, 5, 10 transactions of the Worth account on a monthly basis, because this is going to be easy. You know, 42% of my clients on the Worth accounts are referrals. 42%. You know, I am a real estate broker. I have my own company here in Las Vegas, and it's an obligation to me to, you know, when I sell a property, I tell them, you know what, settle in your new home, and as soon as you settle in the new property, come and see me, because I'm going to give you your financial freedom. The average of my clients here in Las Vegas, they pay their property in 5 years instead of 30. That's the average. But you know what? This guy, his name is Armando. He just purchased the product in full price right now, not even an hour ago, and he's 35 years of age. He's 35. By the time he is, 44, he's going to have over $1.3 million worth of assets, and he's going to have, because he has 2 fourplexes, so that will be 8 units plus 2 other properties, single families. So we did the math, and he's going to have over $13,000 a month income when he's 44. And he's not going to stop there. He's telling me what to do next. And of course, you know, if you're in the real estate arena, as soon as you get a little bit of equity in your property, I'm probably going to make him sell 1 property and purchase 2 more, knowing that he's going to pay them off very, very soon. If you see the video with $1,400, you know, on the monthly on the monthly rental on every on the property, in 20 years you're going to have 15 properties free and clear plus your own. That's 16 properties. I mean, that's a lot of money. I don't usually come into this calls. I think this is the first time in maybe in a year that I've done these webinars, but I'm very, very excited. And I told Skylar that this was going to be a game changer for me as a real estate broker, as a, you know, executive director for the Worth account. This is going to be a game changer. This is going to be so easy to sell. And one thing, you know, and I don't know if Max Sanders is on the call, and he's going to hate my guts right now. Don't sell the product. Do not sell the Worth account. Explain it. Explain it. Make sure your clients understand that this is a tool that they need. It's not a tool that they want. If they buy something because they want it, that's an expense. If they purchase something because they need it, that's an investment. So as long as you teach your client and you explain the results of that analysis, people will understand very, very soon that they need it. It's something they need. And as soon as they realize that they need this software, it's no longer a sale, it's an investment. So people, I mean, my client today, he's going to save almost $500,000 on interest. His combined interest is 5.25 right now. After the Worth account, it's going to be 2.04. And this is, I have his analysis here with me. And he's going to save $460,187 on interest. And he's going to save a little over 20 years of his life on paying 4 properties away. His debt right now is $734,000. 4 different properties, 4 different mortgages, paid in less than 10 years. If that doesn't move you guys, I don't even know what to say anymore. Trust me, I was a real estate agent, a real estate broker. I was a loan officer before I started with, how do you call it, Skylar, with your initial company? I don't even know how you call it now. You first, so you call it different. Your training company. Yeah, I was with them back in the day. You know, I started with them in 2002, and this is so simple. This is so easy right now to sell, and I don't even know what to tell you guys anymore. This video, if you don't want to use the rest of the video, which are, you know, they're very, very good. You know, if you don't want to use the other videos, just use this video alone and don't talk. Don't say anything. This video will do all the work for you, and you just need to explain the analysis. Do not sell it. This is how I sell my Worth account. I don't sell it, if that makes any sense. I don't sell it. I explain it, and I make sure that my clients understand that this is a need. It's not an expense. It's an investment. As soon as they realize that they need this program, they're going to be saving tons of money and a lot of time. They never hesitate to purchase the Worth account. Now, let me give you another tool that I use for you guys to close. This is a very good closing tool for me. If you know a little bit about mortgages, and you know that people buy house and they have to put a down payment and also have to pay closing costs. So I ask them straight out, how much do you pay on closing costs? And they're going to say, well, 3%, around 3%. Well, 2% of, I don't know, $250,000, that's $7,000. So the question that I ask them is, let me understand right. You willingly, with a big smile on your face, pay $7,000 to get on a 30-year note and to be on $250,000 debt, and you pay $7,000 on closing costs to be on debt, and you're not willing to pay $3,500 to be off debt and save $120,000 worth of interest and save 25 years of your life, that doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if you tell them straightforward that question, it will make total sense for them, and you're going to have a closing. That's how I close. I think I lost everybody.
Okay, no. Can you hear me, Flavio?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay,
so
fantastic.
I don't know if you want me to say anything else, or if any questions, or I'm not in front of a. I don't see any questions. If someone has any questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Absolutely, Flavio. Thank you so much for your insight and your feedback. Like I was saying, I've spent a fair amount of time talking with Flavio about his successes and what he has going on that's helped him to be able to achieve his success. And he is one of those people that you very rarely hear from. You just see the results of what he's doing out there. And so he is what I would call more of a walker than a talker. Actually, he's not a talker at all. He just does it, which is a fantastic quality. So anyway, Flavio, again, thank you so much for joining us and for all of the effort and time that you put into this. I know that you believe in this to the core. So thank you for everything
Skylar.
that you do.
You guys have changed my life and my family in ways that you will never know. And I'm very thankful for you and the company. So anything that you need from me, just let me know. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Flavio. Okay. Well, so there's just a few comments that I wanted to make. I know that we're getting to the end of our time here for the call, but a couple of comments that I wanted to make. This concept of debt elimination for wealth creation is so potent and so powerful that there are large organizations out there that are extremely interested in this. They're extremely interested in what it can do for their clients and what it can do for their future business. If they're interested, I can guarantee you there is valid reason behind this to jump in right now. Jump in. If just like what Flavio was saying and what Dr. Hockenstad was saying, this isn't something that you have to go through and put on some shiny sales suit to impress people. It's something where if you simply go through and you click play on these videos and then you go through and you tell them about what this program can do, it's something where just the results and the benefits of what the program can do will get them excited without having to really jump into Mr. Salesman or Mrs. Salesman mode. Excuse the Mr. and Mrs. there, but it's not something where you have to be an extremely polished salesperson to do this. Now, one of the last things I wanted to share with you, I have someone that I won't go through and share their name because they're an individual that is just out doing this and they're not super excited to go through and share with everyone else the success that they're having. But there's an individual that I know that is using this exact concept that has 40, so 40 paid for income generating rental properties. They're completely paid for. This individual is 35 years old. Just imagine the domino effect that they could have if they were to continue to push this concept year after year after year. I talked to this individual yesterday and I said, so do you ever go out and have some fun with the the success, the income that you've generated from this? And he said, you know what, I am in complete building mode. I am laser focused on building. He said, there will be time for me later on to go out and have some fun with this, but I literally want to see how much real estate I can build, how much of a portfolio I can build in the next 5 years. So by the time he's 40, I want to check back in and see where this individual is at. But if you haven't heard, now many of you on this call probably have heard this, but if you haven't heard from individuals or people out there the success stories that they have had in real estate, then start talking to individuals. Seek out people that are in real estate and take a look at what they're doing, and then go through and let them take a look at this, because this is something that absolutely is 100% fact. It's not just some theory. This absolutely works. You can build a tremendous portfolio. Now, one thing that I wanted to point out, the video that we went through and we showed you, went through and showed what this example homeowner or husband and wife could generate in a total of 20 years. Now, here's an interesting little fact. Did you know that we went through and I personally ran out their analysis for the remaining 10 years? The remaining 10 years that they had, that they were just going to pay on their regular mortgage. And did you know that it literally gets to the point, I'm not going to go through and share with you how many more properties they were to accumulate, because then if you start going through and sharing that with other people, it literally can get to the point of just unbelievable, because they don't understand the facts and the mathematics behind it, the strategy behind it yet. In other words, you got to give them a little bit of milk before you give them meat. They got to be able to crawl before they can walk, before they can run. But let's just say that when we ran this analysis out fully, they were paying off a new income generating rental property in an average of every 4 to 5 months for the next 10 years. Now, I'll let you do your own math on that. That's fine, but I'm not going to give you any specific number. All I can say is that the more time that goes on with this strategy, with this program, the closer and closer and faster those properties start accumulating and just start popping off, clicking off like dominoes. I'm referring to it as the real estate domino effect. It literally just starts to tally up property after property. Now, one thing that I want to be careful of is there may be some people out there that aren't interested in accumulating 15, 20, 30, 40 properties. They may be content with 3 or 1 or 5. So let's try not to overwhelm people, because some people may just simply have an appetite for a few. But Okay, I know I said that would be the last thing, but the very last thing that I want to share with you tonight is for those people out there that are maybe a little bit hesitant to go through and start accumulating investment properties, don't leave them with the impression that they're left on their own to do this, because we have put together a team, a success coaching team that will help your prospective clients through every step of the process once they're ready to go through and get their first, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever number of investment properties. We have a team that will help them from the very get-go to the very end, all the way from locating the property to qualifying for financing for the property to purchasing the property to managing the property to selling the property to just completely going through the entire process. Now, for those of you that are on this call, if you are a real estate agent as of right now, or if you plan on becoming one in the future, we are building a database. It's almost complete, but a database that will identify from your client's customer ID number. It will identify that you are their agent and that you are a realtor. It will also identify if you are a mortgage broker. Then, if they call up and they ask for assistance in locating their first rental property, their second rental property, so on and so on and so on, they will automatically be referred back to you as their realtor. This database shows us that information. Also, if you're a mortgage broker and one of your customers calls them and says, hey, I'm ready to purchase my third income property, my fourth income property, so on and so on, we will be referring them back to you for you to be able to go through and do their financing for them. So I know it's probably like drinking from a fire hose tonight, and we didn't intend for it to be that way. It's just kind of unavoidable. But over the next basically couple months, we will be including more and more training information on this income generation and wealth building angle to the program. Next week, Mr. Max Saunders will be training on how to go through and effectively add in rental properties, how to go through and add in the payments, the income, all of the information that's needed to run an analysis to be able to show people what their individual potential is in being able to build an investment property portfolio, what their residual income could be, what their wealth accumulation could be. So there's a lot going on tonight. I appreciate all of you that are still on the call. There's a tremendous amount of people on here. There's a lot of interest. If you have any comments, please feel free to enter them in the question section. And please do know that this video is now live. You can go through and play this for anyone at any time on your replicated agent site at www.worthaccount.com/ and then whatever your agent extension is. So on your replicated agent site of worthaccount.com, this video is live along with the 10-minute video that explains the core functionality of the system. And again, if you have any questions, please go ahead and add them to the question section, and we'll do our best to try and get them answered. And for anyone that would like further information about becoming an agent, or just simple questions if you're already an agent, you can contact agent support at 877-576-5563. And if you'd like to get a hold of Mr. Mac Saunders, who is always a well of information for our agents, feel free to contact him at area code 801-347-6260. All right, everyone, that is our call for tonight. We're excited to see you on next week's call. But any questions that you do have, if you'd like to get started as an agent, anything that you need, please feel free to contact either Max Saunders or our Worth Agent Support line and go through and enter any questions that you might have in the question section. And while the phone line will be muted, we will be going through and answering questions in the question section. So again, thank you everyone for joining us. Dr. Hockenstad and Flavio, thank you so much for joining us. You're always a tremendous amount of help. We love the focus and vision that you have with the product and helping people. So everyone, please have a great night, and we'll tune out for now, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks so much.